Welcome to episode 1 of the Cubing Couch. I'm here with Mo.
Yo.
And let's get into it. So, what's the Cubing Couch? Tell us, Mo.
The Cubing Couch is a chill, relaxed podcast where we tell you all about the news, about cubes, as well as some other off-topic cubing stuff.
Yep, so we're hoping to do weekly episodes. We're in collaboration with many manufacturers and cube stores, so we can get all the juicy information nice and early to share with you guys. So, if you don't know us already, if this is the first time you're hearing our voices, I'm Zain, this is Mo, and we're the Cubing Crakes. You can find us on YouTube and social media, and we do cubing news.
Let's get right into the Weilong WRM 2021, a brand new release, which is following the Weilong 2020.
Yeah, so it seems like every year they're going to add one to the name. So this year is 2021, of course. So it's the Weilong WRM 2021. So we were quite surprised to see this cube come out. We actually saw the cube, and then a couple of days later, we got news from Moyu that we're going to get the cube.
Yeah.
So that was kind of interesting. So we've got the cube now in front of us, actually. Quick sound teaser. Ooh. Okay, so let's talk about it. I'll let you have the cube. So there's a standard version, which is the one we have, which you just heard right now. Then there's also a maglev version. So this is super interesting. I'll explain what maglev is in a bit. But let's talk about the standard features on the Weilong WRM 2021.
Compared to the Weilong WRM 2020, it doesn't, I was about to say 2022 for some reason, going into the future. But the Weilong WRM 2020 doesn't actually have adjustable magnets, whereas this does. And so it's set on the strongest, which is 1, and the weakest is 5.
Yeah, that kind of confused me a bit. So when we were making our unboxing video, which should be out by the time this podcast is released, we initially thought that 1 was weakest and 5 was strongest, right?
Yeah.
And so we were a bit confused that the 1 setting was so strong that we thought, setting 5 can't possibly be any stronger than that. So it's got 5 settings, similar to the Tornado V2. It's adjusted using this tool.
Which we actually got 3 of for some reason.
Yeah, so
we got a blue one, a black one, and a white one, even though they're all the same things.
They're all the same thing, yeah. So 5 different settings, similar to the Tornado V2. And I think it's very similar to the MGC Elite system as well, in the sense that you turn using it's kind of like a screw system. You turn it and it clicks. I don't know if you're aware of the MGC Elite.
No, I haven't seen the MGC Elite.
Okay, so yeah, I think it's similar to that. So there's 5 settings, and then there's the standard Moyu elasticity system. I think I called it GES in the video once, and we had a good laugh about that. So Moyu elasticity system, what's it called?
I have no idea. We'll just call it the
dual adjustment system.
The Mule adjustment system for Moyu adjustment.
Oh, okay, sure. So that's pretty much the basic features. We've got the cube in front of us. We've also got the Weilong WRM 2020. And initial thoughts off the top of your head?
Out of the box, it was good. It was fast.
I agree. Very, very
The strong magnets complemented with the fast turning. But then as we've turned it up until this point, it's gotten quite sluggish.
Yeah.
And so the strong magnets really restrict you. Because it's on, obviously, setting 1, which is, for some reason, the strongest.
Yeah.
And that came out of the box. We haven't changed anything about the cube, but so far it's gotten quite sluggish. So it's not looking too good, but I think it'll actually be pretty good once we lube it.
Yeah, I think the big thing is we need to weaken the magnets. I think once we weaken the magnets, it should speed up considerably. But the magnet setting 1 is pretty strong, and I don't see many people using setting 1 unless they have a really, really fast cube and can't control it. But it's good that they have that range there, with 5 being probably quite weak and then 1 being quite strong, because the main issue I had with Moyu cubes in general was their really weak magnets. Like their Aochuang WRM, I don't know if you've tried that.
Oh, yeah.
It was quite weak.
We got the prototype.
Yeah.
And the prototype that we got was quite weak. We didn't actually get the main version for some reason, probably because there wasn't much difference between the two. But yeah, the magnets were very weak on that cube.
Very, very weak.
Okay, so there's 2 versions, the standard and the maglev version. Over to Zain to talk about the maglev version, because I'm actually not aware on this feature.
So everything you've heard up until this point was talking about the standard version. So the maglev version is likely going to have identical features except the core. So what's interesting about maglev technology is that rather than using screws and springs, it uses repelling magnets in the core.
So kind of like the MGC repulsion? Or did that use
No. That was
repelling between the pieces?
That used repelling magnets in the pieces, but this is in the core. So you might have seen some old, like 2015, 2016 videos from Chris Tran. Are you familiar with Chris Tran?
No.
Okay, so some of you younger cubers or newer cubers might not be familiar, but it's a technology that's been theorized for quite a while. It uses repelling magnets rather than springs and screws, which is very, very interesting, and I'll explain the advantages and disadvantages in a bit. But essentially, it's just the force is generated by two magnets repelling each other. And so when they're compressed, it generates a force.
That's interesting. But I don't see how that's supposed to work. But perhaps you can give us an insight on that.
Okay, yeah. So I'm pretty sure there's still a screw as normal. But there's like two ring magnets. One ring magnet in the cube and then one ring magnet on the top, and then there's like just compression.
So is it just repelling magnets, or is there
just repelling magnets, like no other contacting pieces? And so let's talk about the advantages and disadvantages. So a lot of you might be thinking, well, loads of magnets is probably going to be very heavy, and that is very true. So the Weilong 2020 was 76 grams, which is pretty beefy. The Moyu cubes need to lay off the fried rice. But 76 grams, so Moyu cubes are already quite heavy, and so having a maglev Moyu cube would make the cube pretty heavy. So that's the main disadvantage. Another disadvantage...
But doesn't that depend?
It depends on
because
magnets.
They're removing the features to replace the features.
Yeah, but it depends. It entirely depends on the strength of the magnets.
Would this have adjustment?
Yeah, well? that's something to consider, is that would they implement maglev with the adjustment system?
Yeah, because you know we were talking about the mule system.
Yeah.
The adjustment system. How would they have a replacement for that system? Or would they just regard it completely?
Disregard it,
yeah.
Okay, quick English correction there. Oh no. So that actually leads quite well into our next point. Magnets are not linear, and I'll explain what that means. So when you have a spring and you compress it, if you reduced the distance of the spring by half, so if you halved the distance,
yeah,
the force would double on the spring. Does that make sense?
No, that doesn't make sense.
The force that the spring generates when you compress it by half,
yeah,
is double.
What it was initially. Double.
Yeah. So like, it's a linear system, so you can do the adjustment system linearly, as in like the same adjustment each time.
Okay.
And it'll increase the force by the same amount. Yeah?
Okay, yeah, I think I get that.
Okay. But with magnets, it's what's known as the inverse square law. Are you familiar with the inverse square law?
Do you think I'm aware of that law? No,
okay.
No, I'm not.
You're not? Okay, so some of you who are still in school might be learning it in class, but essentially it's that as the distance of the magnets half, the magnet strength, the force generated, would quadruple. So it's squared. So that must mean that as you get closer and closer and closer, the force would get almost exponentially large.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And so it's not quite linear, as in like you decrease the distance by this much, and then the force increases by a set amount.
Okay. That kind of makes sense.
I'm getting a confused face here.
I think that makes sense.
But yeah, so it's a very different system to springs. You can't really, if you're going to use an adjustment system with maglev tensions, you're going to have to change the increments so that they're slightly different.
Okay.
In order to get like distinguishable differences. That's what I think anyway. I just did a bit of research, and that's what the good old internet is telling me. But yeah, so that's the main differences. Advantages. So the big advantage is, especially with Moyu cubes, is you get a lot of spring resistance, and you've noticed that quite a lot. So here's the WRM 2020. Oh, it's quite... I don't know if you can pick that up, but there's slight spring noises.
We've actually heard spring noises already from the WRM 2021.
So okay. I think it needs a bit of lube.
Yeah, especially here. This is the WRM 2021.
Oh yeah, I can hear that spring noise.
Half the not the WRM cubes, the Moyu cubes, they have, as Zen was telling me a couple of days ago, they have a high drop-off rate. I think
so
I think is what you call
essentially what Moyu cubes, it tends to happen with Moyu cubes in particular. I don't know to say as much with other companies, but the cube comes really fast and almost too fast. Then after about like 20 or so solves, the cube drops off in speed.
Yeah.
At which point it needs cleaning up and lubing, etc.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling it's due to Moyu using a lot thinner factory lube than other companies. And so that's when the factory lube just breaks in.
Yeah.
I would assume. Whereas other companies use thicker factory lubes, in which case their cubes don't have that rapid drop off. So yeah, where were we? So, resistance. So Moyu cubes tend to have a lot of resistance with the springs. Maybe it's their dual adjustment system, I'm not too sure. But Maglev's system would drastically reduce the resistance. I think Z3 cubing or Z3 cubing did a video where...
Z's American.
Z3 cubing over here in the United Kingdom.
So if you don't know, we're British, so you might notice that from our accent. Or, well, we don't think we have an accent, because obviously we're pretty much used to it. So if you're in America, they pronounce Z, which is the letter Z.
After Y, yes.
They pronounce that as Z. So to some people, Z3 cubing might seem like Z3 cubing, even though it's actually Z3 cubing. I'm pretty sure he called himself Z3 cubing.
Yeah, so we'll go with Z3 cubing then.
I'm going with Z3 cubing. Okay, you can go with Z3 cubing.
Alright, we'll go with Z, but our point was that he tried out the Maglev tension system a while back, and it was extremely fast. Like, he could do, I don't know how many U-turns with Maglev.
So it increases the speed.
It increases the speed because there's no resistance in the core anymore.
Oh.
So that is the main advantage of Maglev tensions. We can think of a few more advantages, but I think we'll leave them for another time. But that's the Moyu WRM 2021. Oh yeah, and by the way, the Weilong WRM 2020 right now is only $28.50 on the Cubicle using code Critics.
Critics.
Yeah,
you're getting used to American speech.
Critics.
Nice and British.
$28.50. So that's hitting the sub 30 mark on what is a flagship cube.
Yeah.
So it's definitely worth picking up. So the sale, I don't know how long that's going to last, but $28.50 using code Critics for the Weilong WRM 2020. No. Weilong WRM 2020.
Also, we forgot to also talk about the fact that the Weilong WRM 2020 that we've got is actually stickered.
Yeah.
But the prototype of the WRM 2021 that we got is stickless. I haven't heard news of a stickered version. Have you, Zen?
Not yet.
But so there could be a chance that they won't release a stickered version until later on in the year. Same with the RS3M 2020. Like, they released a stickered version, the stickless, and they released a stickered version, like, quite a long time afterwards. Yeah. And I don't think that did it as well because of the delay.
So, Moyu tend to do their stickered cubes as an afterthought at this point.
Yeah.
Like, their RS3M came a bit of a voice crack there, all of that. But they tend to do their stickered cubes as an afterthought compared to their stickless cubes.
Yeah.
Like, the stickered cubes are just they seem to be more limited nowadays.
Yeah.
So what do you think more about the whole stickered versus stickless? Why do you think cubes are now shifting towards stickless cubes?
Cubes are shifting towards stickless because obviously there's the debate that you're talking about, and the fact about the debate is that stickless cubes are more durable sometimes.
Yeah.
So obviously the Rubik's Connected is a good example.
Right.
It doesn't have a stickless version obviously, but the stickered version, apparently the stickers they're not quite durable.
Yeah, that's what we've heard anyway. But yeah, so essentially it's durability. But back in the day, it used to be mainly because of shades. Back in the day when the plastic colouring, whatever they used, it was very hard to get a colour that looked good. Like in the old stickless cubes days, the colours weren't that good and the feel was slightly different as well. So a lot of people now preferring stickerless cubes. I personally main a stickered cube. So
Do you?
yeah, I main a stickered cube.
Well, what cube is that?
It's the GAN ARM.
You main the GAN ARM?
Yeah.
I thought you main like...
I main a lot of cubes, but the GAN ARM is a stickered
You
cube. and I
main
really
a lot
like
of
it.
cubes.
Yeah.
Well, if you had a cube that you had to choose to, like, you could only use this cube, what cube would it be?
The GAN ARM.
So that's your main. You don't have
yeah.
multiple mains.
No, as in like I don't mind using other cubes, but the GAN ARM is my main cube.
I'm going towards more the Zen route, who like has loads of mains. That's mainly because half my cubes aren't set up because obviously we have certain plans to do with the cubes.
That's the Waylong WRM 2021. We're off on a tangent there, kind of. So let us know what you guys think of the cube. We've got it. We still need to do a lot of testing on it, and we'll share a full review very soon on the Cubing Critics channel.
So, moving on, there's a new MGC cube coming out,
Yes.
and we don't know whether or not it's a smart cube or a flagship cube.
It could be either.
But it's known as the YJ MGC Evo.
Evo, like very high tech.
High tech. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all I was about to say.
So,
Like, Evo gives me Wall-E vibes.
yeah, like even the branding that they showed the cube image with like the Evo written in blue. It gave me like Intel vibes almost. Like Intel, I'm pretty sure has a processor called Intel Evo.
Does it?
And I think Evo probably short for like evolution or some sort of other technological technological term of some form. But I have a strong feeling it's a smart cube.
Because obviously it's going to be competing with loads of companies are actually jumping into the smart cube hype train.
Yeah.
So obviously there's Rubik's Connected, there's the GAN iCarry, there's all the other GAN smart cubes,
Yeah.
and obviously there's others.
There's a few other companies joining the smart cube market right now.
And so it'll make sense if YJ are joining into that because the smart cubes appear to be on high demand at the moment, especially since there's so the GAN iCarry obviously is just decreasing in price,
It is.
and there will obviously be another company
There's a
bringing out a smart cube.
few more companies I say are joining the smart cube market. Either some brand new companies that you've never seen before, or a company that you're already well aware of. So there's YJ being one of them with the MGC Evo. But the interesting thing is, software-wise, how is the YJ software, if it was a smart cube, let's say, theoretically, how would a brand new software from a Chinese company compare to an already existing and well-refined software from another Chinese company, aka GAN?
Yeah, I'm not sure on the software side because obviously I don't look deep into smart cube stuff.
Yeah.
We may have a smart cube expert on the podcast sometime soon.
Yeah.
But for now, I'm a noob when it comes to the smart cube software stuff. All I can say is that it'll be interesting to see the battle between the two companies, or three companies really.
Well, it's going to be a lot more than three companies.
But the three companies for now.
Yeah. So one thing that a lot of people don't like about current smart cubes is the software. So the Rubik's Connected is an exemption to this because obviously they're not really a foreign company. They're American, right? So yeah,
I think
their software is designed to be English primarily. No, not primarily, but
that makes no sense.
their software, like they have a lot of English people on the team making the software, correct?
Yeah.
So they can really easily make it very user-friendly internationally.
Yeah.
But with like something like a Chinese company, it can be quite difficult to make it very user-friendly around the world, which obviously a smart cube is going to be a global product. And so that's where Rubik's is doing pretty well as the software side. The cube probably isn't that as good. We are going to get the Rubik's Connected, by the way, in a couple of weeks, in what is going to be our most expensive unboxing
Of all time.
of all time. Yeah.
Actually, no, would it?
Our record is $250.
It's going to be more than $250.
It's going to be more than it's going to hit the $300 mark.
The funny thing is, I hardly know what's actually going to be in this package.
Yes, it's a good element of surprise.
I know a little bit of details.
Well, I'll give you a clue.
Keeping it a secret.
One of the items is going to be a Rubik's Connected.
That's helpful.
Yeah, because obviously we're going to be comparing a lot of smart cubes.
Yeah.
We've only got the Ganai Carry right now. And obviously, if we do get a hold of this MGC Evo, which theoretically could be a smart cube, we'd want to try it out. We'd want to obviously compare it to something that a lot of people have, i.e. the Rubik's Connected / Ganai Carry / other company smart cubes that will also come out at the time.
Of course, we don't actually know it's going to be a smart cube.
Yeah.
So if it's a flagship, it'll likely have magnet adjustment system.
It does have a magnet adjustment system.
It does have a magnet adjustment system.
It has
even
6 settings.
with.
So if it was a smart cube, it would also have 6 magnet adjustments on top.
How do you know it has 6 settings?
Because they leaked it. They were like 6 is more than enough or whatever it was.
I don't think that was the MGC Evo.
It might be something else. So they did also release a leak of an image containing another screw type system similar to the WRM 2021. All those where you turn it and it changes the magnet. So they had another leak of that with 6 settings, which would make it it will match the GAN 11M Pro with most magnet settings.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
if it is a smart cube, it'll be the first smart cube with an adjustable magnet system.
Yeah.
But if it's not, then it will likely be very similar to the Elite with a dual adjustment system with the adjustable magnets.
Speaking of the Elite, it's actually now $22 if you use code CRITICS.
$22. That's actually a very, very competitive price. So if it was a flagship, then it'll be around the $20-something mark. We know how cheap YJ can make them.
The WRM 2020 we were talking about earlier was $28.50 using code CRITICS.
So these flagships are getting quite cheap nowadays. So that's the MGC Evo. A question for you is, a lot of magnet adjustment systems are becoming the norm, correct? So if we think about it, the RS3M 2020 came out with a dual adjustment system at a time where dual adjustment systems were considered the norm, correct?
Yeah.
Like, it was in every flagship pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, when are we going to start seeing budget cubes or even mid-range cubes that have magnet adjustment? Like, is there a chance we could see a new Mofang Jiaoshi or like budget Yushin? Or...
I have a feeling if we do find that, like if that does happen to be a topic that brings out discussion further on, then I have a feeling Moyu's going to be the first company to do that.
I feel like Moyu's going to...
Moyu's the first that brung the...
Oh, no.
Oh, I haven't had sleep. that brought the dual adjustment with the RS3M 2020 that Zen was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling they're going to bring the magnet adjustment system to the budget market.
So is it safe to say that your prediction is if they do make an RS3M 2021/2022, it's going to have magnet adjustment?
Yeah.
Ooh, bold prediction. We'll come back to this prediction in a few weeks or months.
Okay,
but
so...
that's the YJ MGC Evo.
Moving on, we've got a new MS Cube 3x3 coming out.
Whoa. Okay,
so if you don't know, there's a company called MS Cube, and we talked to them a couple of months back. I remember it being like we heard about the company.
Yeah.
And then we did some research. We talked to them and they were like, yo, you want our cube? And we were like, yep, sure.
Yeah, it was like the ideal scenario is like we were watching a stream from Phil about this mysterious new product. And we were like, what's this product?
We were probably sweating on research.
Yeah, like we did a couple of hours of digging and whatever. Found out obviously about this company MS Cube being made by a former GAN designer, as the rumors were true. And they left GAN, decided to make their own company called MS Cube back in, I think it's been almost a year at this point since MS Cube was founded. And he started developing this new MS3V1 at the time, which came out, obviously, as we know, in 2 versions. 6 versions as of now.
Yeah.
You know the 6 versions? So
yeah, so the stickless.
Primary, black internals,
I don't know.
enhanced standard.
Yeah, and stickered.
So, and so they're back potentially what could be an MS3 V2.
That'll actually be what it's called.
And so...
Well, it's an MS2V1 Pro Elite.
It's definitely not going to be a Pro Elite, and I'll tell you why. So exclusive, you've heard it here first kind of news. This product is going to be cheaper, so i.e. more cost effective than the MS3V1. So for a price comparison, the MS3V1 standard was $28 using critics. Mo almost spat out his water there. But as I said that, so $28 for the standard version and $33 for the enhanced version of the MS3V1, and they're going to be cheaper than that. There's a good chance there's going to be a standard and enhanced version again.
So is this do you know if this is going to be a budget cube or not? Or is it going to be like mid-ship?
So it's going to be...
Or mid... Oh, wait, no.
It's going to be cheaper than the MS3V1, is what I know. It's designed to be a cheaper product than the MS3V1. Whether it's got the same performance, if not better, or worse than the MS3V1, I'm not too sure. But right now, we're currently in talks with MS Cube. As this podcast is out, we've probably found out more information on this brand new product.
Hopefully we have.
So when talks with the customer service as well as the designer of MS Cube,
the former GAN
designer.
Yeah.
So the designer / boss of MS Cube, we're currently in talks with him as you listen to this podcast right now. And for next week's podcast, we'll definitely have a lot more information on this new MS3 V2 in quotation marks predictions.
I'm not sure. I just heard it was gonna be a budget cube like right now. Like
I don't know if it's a budget cube, but it's gonna be cheaper.
Usually we talk about this stuff like in advance because obviously every YouTube has to plan something before they just run into a video. Usually Zayn tells me this stuff, so I'm kind of disappointed you didn't tell me this before.
I wanted to see your reaction in the podcast.
So in terms of it being a cheaper cube, it'll likely. Do you think? Yeah, I think it'll likely have like the adjustment system just chopped off the cube.
Either it's got a refined adjustment system or it's got.
Yeah, because the adjustment system was kind of confusing.
And they claim it's going to have a different feel to the MS3V1. So they're likely not going to use the same piece design of the MS3V1. It's likely going to be a modified design. But given that they have such a quick turnaround on this product, like, it's only been 6 months since the MS3V1. No, it's not even 6 months. Like, 4 or 5 months since the MS3V1.
In terms of the change in the piece design,
yes.
Do you think they'll stick with the cobweb design? Like GAN have gone through with the honeycomb design?
I have a feeling that's their, like, Singe. That's their...
You need to learn English, boy.
So, the cobweb design is what defines an MSQ product.
Like the reason the honeycomb design like defines a GAN cube.
Yeah.
Except now everyone's doing that. Like with the Dainsheng.
The Dainsheng blobby design. I'm pretty sure we've got one on the Weilong WRM 2021 as well. Do we?
Oh no, wait, it was on the 2020.
It was on the 2020? Yeah.
It had like a weird this might actually be a hint into a future cube.
It was. So the Weilong. So something we forgot to mention is for the Weilong WRM 2020, if you've got one at home, have a look at the inside of the corner. So like the internal of a corner piece. On the surface, it has like a circle with a bunch of dots around it. Yeah. Which is essentially what the adjustable magnet system of the Weilong WRM 2021 looks like. So if you look at that. So if you saw the corner and thought it was kind of odd, it kind of makes sense now because it was kind of a hint towards the adjustable magnet system of the Weilong WRM 2021.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So if you see anything out of place on the new WRM 2021,
that means it's something for a WRM 2022. But back to the MS3V1.
What are your predictions?
My predictions is it's going to have...
Your predictions are...
Dude. Okay, so the predictions for me, I don't really know. So there's definitely going to be a stickered version and a stickerless version. So this is one of the companies that are not disappearing from the stickered market.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely going to be a stickered. It's definitely going to be a stickered version because the prototype they showed was a black plastic version, which hopefully we can get a prototype in. So yeah, MS Cube are quite generous with their products. So
okay, so moving on, we're gonna talk about GAN now. So this is gonna be probably half of our podcast.
So it's not a podcast without GAN news. You'll pretty much see us coming back to GAN every week, with some sort of shocking update.
So we'll start from the latest release, earliest releases.
So,
and then we'll move to the latest.
So we got a bunch of cubes starting from all the way from March all the way until now that we haven't yet made videos on yet, our content. So this includes the GAN iCarry 11M Duo 251s. So we'll start with the GAN iCarry.
This was my project. So, oh wait, was it? Yeah.
No,
yeah,
I think
quite a lot.
I think I started off with it.
Yes.
And I used it with CubeStation.
And then CubeEast dropped
an update recently,
which was grateful of them. Grateful of them.
So I think I'll talk about the CubeStation experience, and then I'll send it over to you to talk about the CubeEast experience. So if you don't know, CubeEast is a PC based app.
Although it does work on mobile.
Oh yeah, it does work on mobile apparently as well. Whoa. So it's
a bit laggy.
It's a smart cube timer. So you can connect your smart cube through Bluetooth, and it does pretty much what what am I talking about? What CubeStation would do, except without the battling. Does it have battling?
No, it doesn't have battling, but it does have cool stats.
Yeah, very cool stats. But I'll leave you to talk about that. So we got the Can I carry? So we got the GAN iCarry in March/April. So whoa, it's been a couple of months now.
Fun story. Okay, first heard news of the GAN iCarry back in maybe January, maybe December.
No, it was like October.
Okay, so I remember this as clear as day. So it was a fine night. We were recording a video. I'm trying to think back to what we were recording.
It was a video of us doing solves for what would have been
it would have been a new series.
A new series that we haven't released yet.
We'll actually continue that.
We'll come back to that. We'll definitely come back to that.
But we were recording
a solve compilation pretty much.
Yeah. And so we had everything set up. We did like 3 solves, and then John texted us
from GANCube.
And it was they sent us a picture. They sent us an image of
the box, and it said GAN iCarry.
I don't think she had the cube.
She didn't have the cube at the time, but
but she had the box, and it said GAN iCarry, and it was like, whoa, look at this, look at this.
And then we completely ditched our video, set up everything ready for the GAN iCarry video, wrote some notes. Obviously, we did some research and preparation, recorded the video in one day.
And then edited it the next day.
Published it in the same day. Same day. And that was our first video on the GAN iCarry. And that was a good 6 months in advance. So that was very early. We found out about this product. We were hyping it up in all our roundup videos on our Talking Criticals.
I remember just like swiping the table.
Yeah, like it was a mess. And then we just like completely cleared it up. Set up everything ready. Put a face cam up. Instantly got into recording this video. Talking about our initial impressions.
If you haven't already seen the video, just go back to it right now and see how shaky it would have been.
Yeah, and Mo's got a higher pitched voice than he does now.
I don't think my voice has deepened.
It has deepened. Let us know, has Mo's voice got deep? Say something.
Hello, this is Mo from the Cube Critics. Today, we will be learning about the WRM 2020.
That was his first video, and since then, he's definitely matured a lot. Both in cubing and outside of cubing. Yeah, so that's how old our GAN iCarry knowledge dates back to.
Yeah.
We got the cube in March, and we've been testing it since. Smart Cube is one of those things that you need to test it for a while before giving your opinions.
So far, battery hasn't been an issue as well.
Yeah, so this is a battery-operated cube, as you already know. It can be tensioned, so there's, I think, 2 different tensions. You have to replace a nut to change the tensions. So the Rubik's connector doesn't have adjustable tensions. So you change these discs, and they change the tensions of the cube. So it's an adjustable tension smart cube with no charging port or like wires or anything. So they called it Carry so that it's portable. So that's why it's called the Gan I Carry.
Yeah, because you don't need to bring like a big fat
And the
charger
battery
pack.
life, I think is it 280 hours? I think
I'm not
that's what I
sure.
remember.
It was 200 hours. It's either 240 or 280.
I think it's 280 hours.
280 as well.
And I think I calculated something like if you solved for 20 seconds per solve, you would do a good like 30,000 solves.
That's a good amount.
I think that was my calculation. I might be wrong. So the battery life is going very strong. Like last time I checked, it's nowhere near depleting at any point soon. And we've been using it for several hundreds, maybe even 1,000 solves at this point. So the cube. So let's have a look at the cube.
I think it's over here with me. Yes, it is.
Very messy desk.
Okay, so, it's got weird holes on it because it has LEDs, but this is a sound test. It's quite clacky at the moment.
Ooh, I like that. So yeah, it's like a GAN cube, but like really stable. You can tell it's got that GAN feel to it because of the corn cutting, but it's very stable. It's a very stable GAN cube. Any notable flaws, Mo, from your testing?
You just got the pop filter. Okay, I catch quite a lot on the cube
Yes, I
because
agree.
it's quite like tight.
It feels
or, like,
quite
slow.
tight, yeah. So it's got reverse corner cutting, but it's not quite line to line. It's like ever so slightly less than line to line.
Yeah.
And so that might be the result of the catching. Maybe it's how tight the cube is. We need to check out the other nuts and tensioning and things like that.
These nuts.
And apparently there's been a delay in the pre-order of the GAN I Carry. So as you know, GAN cubes tend to be on pre-order for quite a long time. Any cube store owners are probably nodding their heads as they listen to this.
I was going to talk about the underneath the caps, but I can't take the cap off.
It's
So-
made very watertight, pretty much.
Yeah.
And when you're lubing this cube, try to be very careful because you don't want to use a lot of water-based lubes because it is
And you
electronic.
definitely don't want to use water either.
Yep, and I think GAN have released a tutorial on how to change the magnets. If it's not available at this point, we might make a mini tutorial on how to change, not the magnets. What did I say? Magnets?
I think you said magnets.
No, the battery. It doesn't. You can't change the magnets. It's the battery that you can change. So we'll probably release some sort of tutorial thing if people get confused. But the Cubicle and various other stores currently sell these magnets. It's a C or something. We'll have a look later. So yeah, so the performance is decent. You can tension it. There's been a delay on the pre-order because of the battery, but I think that's been resolved at this point. And overall, so the Cube Station experience is pretty good.
I personally don't like the Cube Station.
It's
I
okay,
liked,
but
okay, I remember watching Cubehead's videos,
yeah, like the
and
old
he
ones.
he beats Max Park and other stuff.
Yeah,
And obviously I like that feature.
I like the
fact
whole
you battle-
matchmaking feature.
Yeah, you battle one person, but now it's you battle a group. You battle a group of
It's,
people.
it's like on Cube Station now. It's a horizontal app. It's a brand new Cube Station 3.0. It's a different app.
and half
completely.
the time Felix is in the top right of the screen.
Yes, because Felix is like the face of GAN, isn't he? But so that's the Cube Station, and it doesn't really have that similar matchmaking experience. It's like you join a room, and then that room could fill up with as many cubers as I think the maximum was like 8 or 12.
But I remember when we first tried the thing. We got kind of bored of the new Cube Station,
Yeah.
and so like we put someone in a room, and like we put someone into a room, and like immediately started like
Right.
without anyone else. So it was just like a
it was just
1v1.
the 1v1.
And
The 1v1, to be fair, the 1v1 experience is kind of different. So there's like a different UI. There's like the whole
Yeah.
visuals. So it's alright.
Another thing we haven't talked about is the fact that the Gan I Carry doesn't even have a gyroscope.
Yeah, so that can be slightly annoying at times when you want to see, ooh, I had a pause here. Oh, I want to see what I was thinking at this point when I did this F12 insertion.
You could always obviously,
You could always manually rotate, but
you want to know
you want to know
what you're looking
where,
at.
what, yeah. So
Yeah.
like, oftentimes you might look into the back slot to see what's there, and you won't really pick that up on a GAN I Carry. But the great things about it is that it tells you every individual F12 insertion time.
Yeah.
So currently it's only CFOP. I don't see any signs of RU or Petrus or ZZ. I don't know what you guys call it.
ZZ. I think I actually called that one ZZ.
Yeah,
Z,
ZZ sounds more natural.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no... So far it's primarily CFOP, and a lot of their GAN gurus... I don't even think they have someone sponsored by GAN that doesn't use CFOP.
I don't think they do either.
And obviously GAN himself, the creator of the beautiful company that we all know now...
The beautiful company.
uses CFOP. So that's probably the reason. And so, yeah, so it's cross, F12.1, F12.2, F12.3, F12.4, OLL, PLL. And you can find out every individual time, so you can look at, my first F12 slot time was very slow. That means I need to work on my cross and F12 transition, for example. So that's the GAN iCarry, which is a very interesting product. We'll have a review coming on that very, very soon.
The next cube is the GAN 11M Duo.
Yep, which is, I think it's still on pre-order right now.
Which was definitely my project because I got this from start to finish.
Yes.
I used to main the 11M Pro.
Yeah.
And then I moved to the Duo for other purposes. And so, out of the box, it was good. It was kind of underwhelming though, because obviously we felt it.
Yeah, so
we felt it for.
I recall more... We were
quite bored doing the unboxing.
It wasn't the exciting unboxing experience that we expected, obviously, because it feels very similar to
the cube was similar, it looks similar, the feeling is similar, the box is similar. The only thing that's not similar is the actual outside box design.
To be fair, it feels kind of... Duo feels slightly softer from what I've experienced, and it's obviously lighter than the Pro. Let's have a quick drink whilst we're sitting on the couch. It's getting quite warm in here, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite warm in the UK. ASMR drinking.
Okay, so the GAN 11M Duo.
So, the GAN 11M Duo.
So yeah, very similar to the GAN 11M Pro. Mo actually offered me the GAN 11M Pro, and who's going to say no to a GAN 11M Pro? So
you took it, obviously.
I took it with pride. So obviously, I haven't used the GAN 11M Pro a lot.
If you don't know our preferences, Zen uses quite slow cubes.
I really like the GAN XS generation of cubes.
The heavy cubes.
Not really.
You're a heavy dude.
So
heavy cubes.
Mo is a big fan of the GAN 11 series with the whole corner magnet, lighter weight, primary internals.
Because I'm very inaccurate.
Yeah, you're an inaccurate turner, I must say. I'm more into the GAN XS generation of cubes, so like the GAN ARM, GAN XS.
The olden days cubes.
Yeah, so the GAN X actually, which broke very shortly after we got it.
Oh yeah, I remember. Okay, another funny story. Okay, so I remember coming home from school. Yes. Obviously, I go to school. I think I came home one day and the cube was there. I was like, yes, it's the GAN XS.
The GAN
X.
The GAN X.
It was GAN 356X. Let's go. And so one day, I had one day to use it. The next day, I came back and Zen was fiddling with it. And I was like, oh, come on. He's probably writing some notes for his review. And then I've never tried that cube after that because it broke. Like the original cube.
I feel very guilty.
You broke it.
So we're going to get a replacement core for that. But yeah, so I'm a big fan of the older, slightly heavier cubes with the black internals.
We dismantled an RS to replace the core.
Yes.
So the RS is in like a GAN box.
Yeah.
We might take a picture of that one day.
Yeah. So that's the thing. So like you're more of a fan of the modern cubes. And I'm more of a fan. I kind of like the 11M Pro. Because the modern
cubes are faster.
I like the 11M Pro right now. I'm using it as a secondary main. And
excuse me?
Yeah, like a secondary main. I did quite a lot of
Your Pro is a secondary main?
Yes, because right now it's quite dry, and when the 11 series is dry, it's not a very nice experience. So if you guys don't have lubes, you might want to hold off getting the more expensive GAN 11M Pro, because when that's dry, it's actually got quite a lot of friction in it.
Yeah, same with the air. Like, I'm having quite a lot of problems with the air. The air is actually not... Is it the air? The Duo. So the Duo features the same problems.
Yes.
So the Duo is my secondary main over the MS3V1 enhanced.
Nice.
So I don't like stickered cubes. Otherwise, I probably would have made the XV2.
I pretty much like what I'm at.
Which did we unbox in our big unboxing?
Yes.
1 year ago.
So the 11 series. So the 11 Pro seems you can definitely, if you have both, you'll notice the Duo's lighter. But if you didn't have both, you wouldn't really notice the light weight straight away. Like, I don't recall picking it up and being like, whoa, the Duo's so light. Like, it was only a few grams, and it probably won't be noticeable unless you have a Pro.
Not a few grams.
But the turning is a big difference. It feels a lot lighter to turn and softer.
And better to turn.
I like the Duo. But the Pro, once you lube the Pro, it's a beast.
It's funny because I always give Zen the secondary cubes.
Yes.
It's like I made a cube, and then a new cube comes into the market, and I just like toss the old cube back to Zen, and Zen uses that as his main.
And a confession that you have to confess to this. You're not very good at setting up cubes. And so this GAN 11M Pro, when I first received it from Mo, it was a mess. I have to be perfectly honest with you, it was a mess.
It was a mess. Like, I try loads of loops on cubes.
Yes.
I like to be a very experimental cuber.
And
that should be like a category of
so that's the thing.
cuber stereotypes.
Yeah. So like, you're more of the kind of cuber that would prefer a cube that's good out of the box and that requires minimal adjustment. The GAN 11M Duo is one of those cubes that, like, out of the box, it was good.
Yeah, but I still have to lube it.
Yeah.
So I like to lube the cube, break it in, and then get a brand new GAN 1112. 1112. We'll get a brand new GAN 12M Pro and then give the bad setup cube to him.
So are you going to have the first try of the GAN 12?
Obviously. I'm priority, you know?
So yeah, it seems like GAN are going to stick with the number.
You have to confess to this now. I am the faster cuber of both of us.
Ooh.
So I get the faster cubes.
So Mo's got a faster TPS, which is why the Duo suits him a lot more. For me, I'm more of a controlled cuber. And so I don't mind.
I'm not controlled, huh?
You're not controlled. I'm more of a controlled cuber that prefers cubes like the GAN XS. And so it's good that we've got different preferences.
So you're slower.
I'm more efficient.
So you're slower.
Okay, let's just leave it at that. So that's the GAN 11M Duo. There's also Cubicle Premium GAN 11M Duos. We've got a couple of special videos planned involving the GAN 11M Duo, GAN 11M Pro, and a few more cubes. This is going to be, theoretically, if we were to do this video in the traditional sense, it would be a very, very expensive video. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't. Wait, say that again.
So it's basically, we're going to try out a lot of cubes.
Oh, yeah.
You get me. So it's going to be a very expensive, in quotation marks, video. We're going to start off with the GAN...
You're talking about the GAN 14, aren't you? Oops.
No. So
we're going to try out the GAN 14, 15, 16.
So one of our videos is a unique spin on the cubing comparison niche.
Yeah.
So you are aware... back in the day, there used to be cubing comparisons where they'll have two cubes and each... there'll be different phases and they'll give points on each phase. Do you remember that?
I'm not old.
Like, first impressions, I'll give the GAN X 5 out of 10, and I'll give the GAN XS 6 out of 10.
The only video that I'm aware of that uses that is actually Cubehead's GMS video.
Yeah, so that was a very old school style. Like, it was used everywhere in cubing comparisons. So we have a plan on doing what is going to be a unique cube comparison type of video.
Yeah.
We've also got, obviously, this expensive video that I claim we're going to do. So there's a couple of hints on 2 series that you're going to see on the channel.
Series.
So consider subscribing to the Cubing Critics.
On YT or YouTube.
Yes.
As people more commonly describe it.
If you want to buy the GAN 11M Duo, use code CRITICS at the Cubicle for 5% off. So that's the GAN 11M Duo, 251M Air, Pro, and Leap.
Okay, so, would the video be out by now? Zen?
Not quite. I think the video's coming out soon, but it was our first video that we both recorded together. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, so.
And so we both like the cubes. We both had mixed opinions about the Air and the Leap.
Yeah.
But the Pro was really good. I really like the Pro.
And obviously that's mine. I am definitely 100%. We've used cubing time quite a lot on phone to do split screen. And I'm the faster 2x2.
Yeah. 2x2.
I'm definitely the faster smaller cuber. It's like,
Yes.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like Cummings,
I know what you
3x3,
mean.
2x2.
Quicker events.
Zen's a 4x4, 5x5.
So Mo is like the quick event expert, i.e. the 2x2s.
because they require a lot of TPS.
Yeah, so anything that requires TPS, Mo is the man. So yeah, he had first choice. He chose the Pro. I kind of didn't mind the Leap too much, so I'm now maining the Leap. Let me have a look. So here is the GAN 251M Air.
I don't think this is the end.
Very light feel. This is the
the
Air.
Air.
It's the Air.
Oh, yeah, I like the Air.
So the Air's got a very subtle magnetic feel, like it's barely noticeable. So it's barely noticeable. So it's like it's only got corner magnets in it, and it's obviously got the GES system that we've seen in other cubes. So it comes with the extra GES. It comes with fixed magnets, fixed corner magnets, and nothing else. No other magnets between the pieces, just corner magnets. And so it results in a very subtle magnetic feel that only if you're feeling out for it, you'll notice. So some people might like that, some people might think it's too weak.
Okay, I'm definitely talking about the Leap.
Why?
So the Leap.
The Leap is
I like to, yeah. Okay, I like to describe the Leap as the lumpy one.
the lumpy one.
Because it's practically, it's a good cube.
Yeah,
it's
it is.
controlled.
I like it.
I think like Sean, we said like Sean would like the cube or something.
It's Sean's
because,
like dream cube.
Yeah.
Cube review.
Because it's very lumpy. Like, wait, is the cube here? I don't think we've got the cube here.
But yeah, so here's the Leap. Oh, the Leap.
What?
I've got it here.
Oh,
Alright,
bro.
so no. So here's
Give me-
here's
no,
the,
I want to do it.
dude.
Okay, I get privilege. Okay,
Okay, go on
because
then.
the pro's not here at the moment. So this is a Leap.
So it's got something known as large angle homing technology, which
fancy.
means that when you're about 30 degrees off a turn,
It does the turn.
it'll align the turn for you. 30
Like,
degrees.
even then, you could hear like the double turns. I was only doing, this is one turn. Oh wait, no. This is one turn.
Yeah, like there's a magnetic bump.
Yeah.
So where you have the advantage of the homing technology aligning the turns, you also have the disadvantage of there being more resistance to the initial turn. Because
Yeah.
the homing technology is acting against you
I'd
on
say
the first
it's pretty
30 degrees.
good. Like fast, when you're going fast, it's pretty good. It's got strong magnets, but
Yes.
it's pretty good.
So it's essentially what the Pro is. It's got adjustable corner magnets. It's got piece magnets as well.
To top it off, it comes in a Pro box.
Yeah.
Like it's even come in its own box. It comes in the Pro box.
So, and it's $40, slightly less. I think it's, slightly less if you use code critics. So that's the Leap. The Pro is very similar, except it has weaker magnets. So it's obviously not got this big boy magnet doing the homing for you, but it's still got some level of homing. Not very large angle though. So a question for you is, would you buy, if you had to go out and buy a cube, obviously you don't have to because you get free cubes at your doorstep, but if you had to go out and buy a cube, I'll give you some money. Here you go.
How much money do I get?
I'll give you the Air being $23. So let's say I gave you $35.
Yeah.
Would you spend that on the Air? Is the Air worth it to you? If I gave you enough money for the Air, would you buy it?
It
Or would
feels
you
like a
want to
budget
upgrade?
cube, but it's good. Like for me, magnets don't matter too much.
Yeah.
Like
Especially in 2x2.
it feels like a non-magnetic cube.
Yeah, especially when you turn it fast.
But it's fast, it's controllable, and I likely will buy this cube if I had the money.
So at $23.99,
We have
you
$35.
No. Let's just say you had enough for. Let's say you had $23.99, which is the price of the.
I have $24.
$24, which
I
is the
want to
price
keep
of the
one
Air.
pence.
Let's say I have $24. Would I spend that on a GAN Air? A GAN 2x2 Air, I'm talking about, not a 3x3. The GAN 251M Air. Or would I buy a flagship like the Volk or the Flare, which are all at $20? I would personally choose the alternatives. For the Air primarily. But if I wanted something that's Pro, you'll go for something with the word Pro in the name, i.e. 251M Pro, because that cube is
For
a
only
beast.
$32.99.
Yes, and then if you do like the strong magnetic bump, you might like the Leap. That is the one with the big boy magnet inside the core. So we're going to take a little break. We'll be back after this break for more, but first, here's Phil with a quick message.
Hey everyone, this is Phil. Sorry to interrupt your podcast. I just wanted to let you know that we just released our Team Cubicle Signature Series. These are replicas of Cubers' mains and cubes that are important to them. And so we have things like Timon's WRM, Leo's GAN 11, and I also have a personal cube as well. It's the Tengyun V1. It's a fantastic cube. So if you're interested in getting a replica of some of these really cool items, feel free to check it out on thecubicle.com.
And we're back on the couch to continue this episode. That was Phil you were just listening to. And boy, oh boy, have we got an exciting couple of months for the Cubicle, which we'll go into. So we've got a lot more news, including some Cubicle exclusives. We've got a lot more news coming next week, such as stuff from Cubes UK, maybe a new lube or a few lubes coming. We've got some sort of items from Dian Cheng. Mofang Jiaoxi's going to be releasing some stuff. But for today's episode, let's talk about the Cubicle exclusive products. There's quite a lot of them. So let's start off with the Weilong WRM 2019. So there's a few versions. Are you aware of this?
No, you haven't told me this.
Oh, so
yet again,
okay.
You haven't told me an important piece of
I
news.
gave you these notes in advance, but okay. So there's 3 different versions of the Weilong WRM. There's the fluffy version, the Timon version, and the Row version, all at $46.50 using code CRITICS at the Cubicle. So fluffy, are you aware of fluffy?
No, I'm not. I think it's the Cubicle
It's like a
Pro Shop mascot.
yeah. Then you do know what fluffy is.
Yeah, I thought.
So fluffy,
I thought it was
essentially,
called something else.
every month there will be a new fluffy product. And the fluffy product will be every month there's going to be a new fluffy cube. And basically what it is people suggest their setups for cubes. And then if the Cubicle really like their setup, they'll make it into a fluffy cube.
So do they actually physically try out the setup?
Yeah. So they'll be like, that could work. And that could potentially be the next cube that they sell on the Cubicle.
That's actually a pretty good idea.
It's pretty good.
So is that just for specifically fluffy or for raw? And
That's fluffy. That's the fluffy cubes. So there's going to be a new fluffy cube every month.
what about the Timon?
So Timon currently uses mains the WRM 2019. He uses a combination of Weight 5, Gravitas, and Dignitas to create what is a controllable and reliable cube. This, in my ad, is not the thing. So if you go onto the Cubicle and look at Timon WRM, that is not the thing. So I have a feeling that might cause confusion in future. That is not the thing. The thing is coming up soon.
We'll be getting it soon.
Yes.
With the expensive
Our
package.
most expensive, another clue there. So our most expensive package we've ever got is going to include the thing. But this is not it, as most people might think. You'd actually be quite surprised to see the number of messages that we get saying, the Weilong WRM 2019. Like, that's not the thing on its own. We think we know what the thing is. I think Phil's kind of not saying yes, but not saying no at the same time. So it could be the thing we're thinking of, but we don't know yet. So we'll have to wait and see. But
yeah, so moving on to the raw WRM.
so this is an interesting one. So Rose WRM is what's known as the WRM Lite. So it's a modded WRM to have lighter magnets, and it's got a combination of weight 1 and weight 5 on the pieces. Is designed to be a blind cube, so like a blind product, and it's a replica of what is currently his blind main.
So
for
what's
blind, the main is WRM 2019, but with lighter magnets. For blind, you don't need strong magnets. You'd actually prefer with lighter magnets. And so that's his main, designed to be a blind solving cube.
Moving on, we've got a Phil Tengyun M3x3.
Yes.
Which is going to be $34.99.
Using Critic.
Using code CRITICS the Cubicle. And this is a cube that has a mixture of Weight 5, Compound 10, Gravitas, and DNM. So that's quite a hefty cube.
Juicy combination. I think Weight 5 is on the core, and then the pieces have Compound 10, Gravitas, and DNM.
So apparently it works well with OH, as well as just regular cubing.
So obviously we know Ro is very successful in blind solving and multi-blind and that kind of stuff. And Phil is obviously the one-handed guy when it comes to the Cubicle. Apparently it creates a light, fast, and crisp feel. Very nice. Crisp feel. So the Tengyun apparently is a really good cube for OH. Having it set up, designed for OH, would be pretty good to buy. What I would say though, Phil, I know you're listening to this right now as we speak. What I would have liked to see is a bit of more of a price range on these celebrity Cuber series.
Yeah.
Right? So they're currently $46.50 for the WRMs and $34.99 for the Tengyun M's. But what I would have liked to see, especially in Phil's case, he really likes the Qi MS.
Yeah.
So what I would have liked to see is a budget cube that a popular speed cuber is currently using with a custom setup on it. So right now the Qi MS cubes they're out of stock for the premium versions.
Okay.
So there's no like Mystic MS, things like that. So there's no premium Qi MSs as we speak. So what I would have liked to see is maybe some sort of price range on this Celebrity Cuber series. And then another cube we have is another flagship, which is the GAN 11M Pro, which is Leo's setup.
Which is a mixture of Gravitas, Silk, DNM, and Weight 5. Okay. Also another hefty cube.
Yes.
And features medium magnet settings.
Yeah.
As well as the tension settings on 3 and the compression settings on 2.
So I would assume that is a very loose and fast cube. I've got, it's not here right now, but it's a GAN Air M, and it's on tension 3. Usually I use on GAN cubes tension 1, which I think is the tightest, correct?
Tension 1's the tightest.
Is it?
Is it?
Or is it the loosest?
I
think it's the tightest.
I think it's the tightest.
I think it's the tightest. So I usually use tension 1.
Yeah. It's the tightest.
Yeah. So I usually use tension 1 and I find that okay. Tension 3, I've currently got a cube sitting somewhere that's on tension 3.
Talking about, I know this is a bit off topic, but talking about the GS system.
Yeah.
Is it GS?
Yeah,
the adjustment
like the
system.
GS Pro, yeah, it's cool.
The annoying thing is, I remember like going back and forth to adjust the cube. Minor, like really minor.
Like
because it has 0, 1, and 3
it has 1 and, yeah.
And 0, 2, and 4 and 1.
Yeah, so
so it's kind of annoying to get from 1 to 2.
Yeah. So I think buying a custom cube that's already set up, already lubricated, already got the perfect setting that works for someone in particular and may work for you if you have a similar turning style or speed is always a good option. And so, yeah, so I have a feeling Leo likes very loose, fast cubes. So it might not be very loose. It might just like fast cubes in general. So you may have noticed when you're watching the Cubicle streams that there's a new member to the team known as Steven. Yes.
Also known as the Pyraminx dude.
The Pyraminx guy. And so there's some brand new Steven products that have hit the Cubicle. These are modded and customized Pyraminxes. And what I do like here is we've got a price range. We've got a budget custom Pyraminx, a mid-ranger, and then a flagship Pyraminx.
Or midship.
Yeah. So we'll start off with Steven's budget option, the Little Magic Pyraminx. So what he's done is he's removed the washers for more flexibility. So apparently there's washers, and removing those improves the flexibilities of the cube, or the tetrahedron in this case.
The tetrahedron puzzle.
Yeah. So there's usually 3 magnets in the tip, and one of them has been removed in each. Uses weight 5, and this is Steven's budget Pyraminx. In case you don't know, he's the summer intern at the Cubicle. So he'll be here for the summer times. You can imagine a lot of fresh Pyraminxes coming out during this summertime.
And some fresh new streams as well.
Yes. Which are also very fun.
Moving on to his mid-range cube.
Yep.
Which is Steven's Dr. M.
Yep.
Which is $28.50.
Using critics.
So it's obviously based off the Mr. M, the Dr. M puzzle.
ShengShao Mr. M Pyraminx.
So
you may have seen a video on this, but some ShengShao Mr. M's do not come out very well. So it's not the most reliable cube to buy on its own, but the Dr. M fixes a lot of these reliability issues. So it fixes all the wrong color schemes. Apparently it comes in different color schemes, which is kind of strange. It fixes all the defective parts, any loose pieces, caps, magnets, all glued in to ensure longevity of the cube.
Longevity.
And then obviously it's been lubed and attention thoroughly. I would like to know what combinations of lubes are used in this cube. And it comes with, if you bought it now, 3cc bottle of Cubicle Labs Mystic.
Yeah, I use Mystic a lot.
Mystic is one of my favourite lubes from the Cubicle.
You've been using it in a lot of your cubes recently.
Yes.
Secretly, maybe.
No.
Yes.
No, not recently. But when we did set up our mains, at the time we got the bunch of lubes from the Cubicle. We've set up our cubes and...
this is kind of like a guilty story, but there was once this popular D&M ball that we had, and I hid the ball from Zen.
Hid the bottle.
I hid the ball from Zen so he couldn't use it.
Wow.
And then for some reason I forgot where I hid it, and so we couldn't use D&M like forever. I secretly dig through the place that I thought it was, and then I was like, "Whoa, you found it!" Because obviously I did end up finding it, and I had like reveal that, oh man, I actually hid it. And so
you hid a bottle of D&M, what was our best lubricant at the time.
Now probably Mystic.
D&M being our second best. And you hid our lubricant, and we had very drier than
and we were both like
desert.
We were both like, oh man, I really want to have a good cubing setup session right now. But we don't have the D&M, we don't have the lubes, we've only got some random thick lube. And so we ended up like digging for a good like hour, and then I found it in like...
that was not a pleasant experience.
And the funny thing is, the place where I actually found it was I hid it in an RS3M box.
Yes.
In the accessories box of that RS3M box.
Oh, wow.
So like...
And we had a couple of RS3Ms at the time, so...
There was actually another lube with that, but I can't actually remember what lube I hid with that lube. But D&M was very popular. Zen was using it. He took it upstairs with him like every day to secretly lube his cubes.
No, I don't secretly lube my cubes.
Really? Are you sure about that?
So we also had a lot of very slow cubes at the time. So we had the Aohun WRM, which we all know was a very slow cube.
the Yushin Huanglong 5x5.
Huanglong 5x5, which as
another
you all
funny
know,
story. Another funny story. Okay.
We'll save the Huanglong 5x5 story for another time, I think.
That was funny though.
It was a very funny story. We'll save it for next week. If you tune in next week, we'll talk about our funny story involving the Huanglong 5x5.
And Zen's experiences.
Yes.
Okay, so moving on to Steven's Gant Pyraminx.
Which is their flagship. Top tier cube. I can't remember what the price is for that one.
It's the enhanced version, and the washers under the GES system are removed for increased...
No, they've actually been added.
They've
added washers under the GES. So apparently for a Pyraminx, if you want to make it more or less stable, you have to either remove or add washers to the Pyraminx. So what they've done is they've added washers to compress the springs a bit more. So it's got washers under the GES to increase the stability of the Pyraminx.
And one magnet removed per tip to
improve the balance. So reduce the magnetic strength.
It's using the green GES option, which I think is actually the default.
Yeah.
And in terms of the lubes, it's got Weight 5 and Mystic, so not too bad of a setup.
Yeah, I think that's a solid setup.
The cube, if you buy it, also comes with extra GES nuts, just in case you want to switch it out.
Yeah.
That is it.
Steven's flagship Pyraminx. Yeah. So a good price range there. Something that I was hoping to see in maybe some of these celebrity cubes. So they're the bunch of premium cubes that have just joined the Cubicle line. So a lot of news. There's still more to come, by the way, for next episode. So what to expect next time? We're currently in talks with Dian Sheng, and they have some exciting news for us. We'll have more updates on this MS Cube V2 in quotation marks, as we're currently having a chat with the designer and the boss. There's going to be a mini battle between Mofang Jiaoxi and Yushin for the big cube market.
Okay. Yeah.
Very, very interesting. And obviously, Cubes UK are planning on producing
some custom lubes,
and we'll have a look at how that evolves over time. So that is that. Wow, that was a long episode.
The cubing couch is sagging and away.
And also something to mention is for future episodes, we are going to bring people onto the couch. So you'll get to see, or hear at least, some more guests join us on the couch.
That's all for now. And
so yeah, I hope this was a very chill experience for you guys. Episode 1, we probably were a bit shaky, made a few errors here and there.
If you want to join the Cuban Couch community, be sure to subscribe to our channel.
Yes.
The Cuban Couch YT channel, as well as using the code CRITICS in the cubicle.
We'll likely make a custom discount code for you guys called COUCH at some point in future. Couch. And
tell us what you think of the podcast.
Every week we are going to have juicy world first exclusive news. And so next week we have some more of that. And it's the Cube season, boys. Lots of news. Lots and lots of news. So we'll see you guys in next week's episode. But until then,
that's all from the couch.